If you're a business leader, you don't need a bigger MarTech stack. You need a stack that answers one important and crucial question. Can we connect what we spent to what customers did and to what we earned? Let's face it, marketing budgets are tighter. Gartner put the average marketing budget at 7.7% of revenue in 2024. When that is the environment you're operating and leading in, you don't get credit for activity. You get credit for outcomes. And if your team can answer the question I asked earlier, your MarTech stack isn't a stack, it is a software museum. Quite frankly, I'm anti-hype on MarTech. Over the years, I've observed that most growth problems are discipline problems wearing a two-problem costume. I strongly believe that the future belongs to companies that can prove revenue impact even when attribution gets harder and privacy regulations gets stricter. And in the new AI era, AI will only reward companies that have their data and lifecycle fundamentals right. All other companies will be busy buying AI features and still arguing about numbers in meetings. Hi, my name is Anthony. I help business leaders cut through the AI and MarTech noise and hype so you can turn them into real growth and lasting impact. In today's video, we will be exploring what your core MarTech stack should look like. We will try to understand why utilization is more important than tool counts. We will consider first-party data and why it is no longer a marketing issue, but also a CEO issue. We will define your MarTech center of gravity for your industry. And finally, we will look at why AI belongs at the top and not at the bottom of your stack. Here is the truth. Most companies only need at most 5 tool categories to drive growth. Everything else, heat maps, pop-up tools, fancy AI widgets are simply add-ons. And there's a reason I'm being strict here. Gartner's 2025 Marketing Technology Survey warned us that MarTech utilization is at shockingly low levels. We're talking about 49% utilization. This means companies buy tools but don't operationalize them. Shelfware is the most expensive kind of software you will ever pay for. You pay for it, you get no value from it. As a business and marketing leader, you must prioritize outcomes and ROI from your existing tools rather than adding new ones. Like I said earlier, you only need 3 to 5 essential tool categories for your business. So I want us to take a brief moment to look at these categories and understand what they are. Category number 1 is the one most teams skip and then regret. The first category is your CRM. This is your customer relationship management tool. This is where many MarTech stacks fail quietly because the CRM isn't a source of truth, it's a contact database. Your CRM must define lifecycle stages and then connect them to revenue. Otherwise, every meeting you go into becomes, I think the campaign worked, and nobody trusts the data and the numbers. If you spend time on subreddits and other online forums, you'll see this complaint constantly. Teams cannot reliably tie marketing touchpoints to pipeline and revenue. So you need a CRM tool that can run acquisition, conversion, retention, and measurement touchpoints across your entire funnel. If CRM is the brain, automation is the nervous system. The second category of tools is for marketing automation. This is your lifecycle engine for messaging. Email and SMS are not old school. They are very, very important presently. They are your best channels where you have the most control. With the right marketing automation tools, you can automate your lead nurture sequences, new customer onboarding, existing customer retention, and reactivation of non-performing customers. And when you add personalization to the mix and do it responsibly, the upside can be huge. In fact, McKinsey reports that it can cut acquisition costs by 50%. and lift revenue by 5 to 15%. That is not hype. That is the compounding effect of personalized experiences from automation. But automation without measurement is just activity. The third category of tools is around analytics and tagging for proper measurement. If you can't trust the data, you cannot trust the decisions, period. You need a consistent way to track events such as views, clicks, form submits, and purchases. Doing this accurately gives you a level of trust in the data that most business leaders lack. Google Analytics 4 has become the measurement baseline for most teams. In fact, Search Engine Journal estimates that over 15 million websites use the tool. And the best part, it is a free tool. But don't get me wrong, the tool is not the point. The point is implementing a disciplined event taxonomy and UTM standards so your marketing campaigns don't turn into mystery activities. Now, the hard truth is that analytics alone doesn't unify customer identity. The fourth category of essential tools is one most business leaders underestimate. I'm referring to your customer data layer. The ability to identify and unify relevant attributes and dimensions. Analytics is great, but it only tells what happened on one surface. On the other hand, your customer data layer connects what happened across all surfaces. This matters more now because of privacy shifts and signal loss, pushing companies towards first-party data strategies, as reported by Interactive Advertising Bureau's State of Data reporting. So, you have to start simple using consistent identifiers, doing clean captures, and setting rules for what counts as a customer. Then, if complexity demands, you can actually go ahead and implement a customer data platform or take a data warehouse-led approach. Once identity is stable, attribution becomes less messy. The fifth and last category of essential tools is attribution. This is where you stop arguing and start understanding which channels and campaign drive profit, not just clicks. Attribution can be messy. This is why people ask for multi-touch attribution constantly, because last click often lies about the entire customer journey. So the goal isn't perfection. The goal is a repeatable model that you as a business and marketing leader can trust enough to move budgets around with confidence. Now let's talk about traps I've observed over the years that causes MarTech stacks to fail. There are 5 traps that I have observed. The first one is buying tools before defining stages and owners. The second one is having too many tools and not enough adoption within your organization. Number 3 is having sloppy UTMs and naming conventions. This causes frictions on your dashboard and potentially wrong information. The fourth is weak customer identity capacity. This makes personalization very challenging. And the fifth one is lack of governance. This causes small changes to break your entire reporting. These failures are exactly why utilization matters more than the number of tools in your MarTech stack. Gartner research has been warning business and marketing leaders for years. The fact is this: MarTech stacks are not failing because the tools are bad. They are failing because they are not properly operationalized. We've covered a lot of information in this video, and I'm sure you're probably asking yourself, so how do I choose my MarTech stack without overthinking it? It's actually simpler than you think. But first, you need to start by picking your center of gravity. What is your center of gravity? Your center of gravity is a single system where customer truth, decisions, and accountability converge. Everything else in your MarTech stack should orbit that system, not compete with it or duplicate it. So for example, if you're a B2B or a services-led company, your CRM is your center of gravity. And if you're an e-commerce or transaction-led company, your customer and order data is your center of gravity. Having clarity on your center of gravity gives you focus and alignment when it comes to selecting your MarTech stack. Let's make this concrete with 2 reference MarTech stacks. The first one is for a B2B company, say 10 to 100 million services business. A clean stack will be something like this. At the CRM layer, they are using HubSpot or Salesforce. At the automation, they could be using HubSpot Marketing Hub or Adobe Mercato Engage. At the analytics layer, they can go with Google Analytics plus tag management. And at the data layer, they can start light, as I mentioned earlier, and only add a customer data platform or warehouse if they truly need it. For attribution, they can use their CRM's pipeline reporting and dashboard. And remember, with budget pressure, fewer tools win. Now let's look at a reference tag for an e-commerce business. For an e-commerce business, your customer and order platform is the hub. So we're talking about Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, you name it. Plus, your customer profiles within that hub. Now for automation, you could use a Klaviyo or Braze plus SMS if it fits your margins. And for analytics, Google Analytics 4 with tag management. At the data layer could be a customer data platform or a light data warehouse when multi-channel complexity justifies it. And for attribution, you can do this with your customer and order platform plus your analytics tool. With privacy shifts and signal loss, it is important you take a privacy by design approach using first-party data. Finally, where does AI fit into all this without becoming a hype? The answer is quite simple at the top. The 2025 CMO survey shows rising AI adoption across organizations. But the winners will be the teams with operational maturity, not the teams that bought the most AI features. AI is not a foundation that fixes messy data and broken definitions. As a business and marketing leader, you should view AI as your co-pilot that speeds up segmentation, creative iteration, speed analysis, and improves customer experience. If everything I've covered in this video was helpful, here is how we can keep building together. First, hit subscribe and follow my channel so you don't miss my next video. Second, if you want the frameworks and checklists I use with my clients, visit my website, anthonyobioha.com, and join my newsletter. I share practical playbooks for using AI and MarTech in a way that actually moves revenue. And if you're a business and marketing leader who wants a more personalized roadmap for your brand, feel free to reach out. We will look at your data foundation, your customer journeys, and where AI and MarTech can realistically deliver value in the next 6 to 12 months. Thank you for your time and have a profitable day.